well.
Hi, how do you?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how do you guys begin a training camp? Where do you even start when you have started season? What do you start with?
Start by playing. Playing a lot, just trying to get in better shape. I think guys are getting used to each other. So it's kind of different. The last couple of days of training camp for us is usually more playing, not as many drills, not as much teaching, and then we kind of get to the teaching after the first couple of days.
How are you approaching the starting lineups right now?
I'm not.
When do you want to actually start thinking about that?
I mean, just, we're getting up practice, getting up preseason games, and then just kind of go from there. But right now, it's just too new and too fresh. And so we want to take our time, get the best shape we can get in, and kind of go from there.
What's important to you as far as lineups in general? Like, what fits do you want to start first halves and second halves of games?
What fits?
Yes.
What do you mean?
You can emphasize something defensively, like to have the best offensive players out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think
got a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think we got the right combination on the floor. I think it's very important. Just who fits well with who, what we need on the floor at all times, and then just kind of go from there.
Even with you not really going through starting lineups right now, Brad was a guy last year. He was a team guy, did what he needed to do coming off the bench of Phoenix, but he was vocal that he believes he's a starter in this league. With you guys losing that spot in Norm and then bringing him in, is it fair to assume at this point that he's going to be the starting two guard?
He will start, yes.
Is John Collins going to start?
I can't remember.
When you look at Bogey and Brad, I know they were dealing with stuff in the offseason. What did they do today? You said you guys were just running and playing today?
Yeah, we did a lot of playing, a lot of running. They didn't participate in the 5-on-5. I think Bogey did some of the half-court stuff, but not the full-court stuff. And so we just make sure we take it day by day, make sure they're comfortable, make sure they're healthy. But they feel pretty good. We just want to be smart about it.
How much 5-on-5 do you do in a training camp heading into season?
A lot, especially early on, just to, like I said, get in shape. I don't want to put guys on the line running 17, so just playing. I'm getting in game shape, and I thought our guys did a good job of, playing hard, competing, and just trying to get the best shape we can get in.
You mentioned a couple of things that you guys really wanted to key in on. Start with the playoffs, offensive rebounding, closing possessions with rebounds, and then getting back into transition defense. How much of that is you guys made personnel additions this year, just obviously to kind of quell that, but how do you start with? Is it more the personnel you added? Is it more stuff that you can actually tangibly work on, or how do you kind of view
things that we can actually work on? And that was our big point of emphasis coming into training camp, is just transition defense, make sure we get back, and then rebound the basketball. But we did a good job in the regular season, but in the playoffs, you're dealing with Joker, and he has Zoo on the perimeter, our rebound is going to go down, and then also just getting back in transition. When he rebounds the ball, he's always looking to throw the ball deep. And he was 7th in transition defense last year, but I think except for way down in the playoffs, it got worse, and so did our rebounding. So those are two things we gotta, be great at in the regular season, but also be really good at in the postseason as well.
Whose idea was those shirts then?
So what?
Whose idea were the shirts?
JVG, transition defense. Get the F back.
Yeah, is that what it said?
Yeah, that's what it says. Amir got it on right there. Yeah.
Speaking of Jeff, second straight year you guys have had him on staff. Zoo talked about the defense. You guys do a couple little things differently than other teams do. What do you see out of you guys defensively going into the year? Because you guys were 3rd in defense last year. Do you think you can get even better than that?
I think so. I think, like I said, JVG, has been great, been tremendous. Just, like I said, having different tactics that we didn't use before in the past, and things that were unconventional that actually work and actually make sense when you think about how the game's played today. And so, the things he's been able to do for us defensively has been unbelievable.
And we see Bud and Tibbs over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are they here in an official capacity, or are they just here for the week, or what?
I'm here for a couple of days just to be around basketball, be around training camp, and Tibbs was my first teacher. In Boston, I was able to learn from him the defense. Doc was the head coach, and Tibbs was the associate head coach doing the defense. So I actually learned a lot from Tibbs. And then Lawrence came in, I learned a lot from Lawrence as well.
When you look at a guy like John Collins, he wasn't in a winning environment the last couple of years, so are there, with a guy like him, are there habits you have to maybe work out and more team-oriented things you have to focus on?
I mean, still just have to, let him be himself and then just try to figure it out from there, but I wouldn't say losing habits. I mean, he went to the Western Conference Finals in Atlanta. He started, was a big part of that, so I wouldn't say losing habits or anything like that. I just think it was just different circumstances. Team was young, team was trying to, whatever they were doing, he it wasn't his fault. Like he averaged 18 points a game, shooting 40% from three. You know, and so just trying to get him acclimated to what we're trying to do here, and make sure he's comfortable. But he's going to be a great addition for us.
Speaking of John, he was using intricate ways in Utah with they would run some 4-5 pick and rolls with him where he'd come off screens and all this stuff. Like, is that kind of how you envision being able to use him at
I'm
times?
still trying to learn him, but I mean, I know a lot of things he can do offensively. You know, I think for us, you know, when he's running in transition, he gets those deep seals against smaller guards. Like, we got to throw the ball into him. He does a great job of switching, getting behind the defense when teams are trying to switch. He's very good at that, at playing the pocket, finishing at the rim, and making passes. And his three-point shooting is really good, you know. So I'm just envisioning him doing a lot of different things, playing the four, playing some small ball five, and so we'll just see how it works out.
How do you, this is your 6th season as a head coach of this franchise, you've been part of this franchise longer than that, like, how do you deal with distraction? How do you deal with, like, you know, knowing that you got a star player who a lot of people are talking about for reasons that aren't basketball reasons? Like, how do you get your team to focus in and concentrate on starting the season the way you want to start?
Yeah, I think our guys are focused. You know, it's an unfortunate situation right now. But like I said, Kawhi was the best. Well, he was the best player on the floor today. He looked great. You know, so things like that don't seem to bother him. You know, and so as far as the distractions, like, we don't buy into that. Like, we know we got to play. We know the things we got to do if we want to be a good team. That's all we're really focused on.
You probably talked about it enough at this point, but since you brought it up, what does it mean to have him back out there from day one?
It means a lot. You know, just having Kawhi in training camp, healthy 100%, being to perform the way he did, like I said today, it's good. It's a breath of fresh air for our team, just knowing that we can start the season with our best player on the floor and he's ready to go.
We know what James is capable of, but is it too much to expect a year like you had last year? Like, you want to kind of tone down some of his usage?
We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. You know, I think, you know, we had to, but we kind of like, you know, he just had to do too much for us to be successful, to try to win games, to try to stay afloat while Kawhi was out. You know, and so we don't want James to have to do that all year. You know, it's going to be games when he has to do that, but, you know, I think the last 25 games of the season when Kawhi came back, I think was number 2 in offense and number 1 in defense, you know, so we'll be able to score the basketball when everyone's healthy and things are clicking on the right cylinder. So we don't want James to have to go out every single night, have him do everything he did last year for us.
Just chain up something.
No, I'm just saying it's just, you know, different play calls, different things. You know, like, he had to make every play for us pretty much last year, him and Norm, offensively. And so it just put a lot of pressure on him. And I think, you know, the last few weeks of the season he got worn down. So that's our fault. But we had to do what we had to do to try to make the playoffs.
Like, convincing him that he's going to sit down.
I mean, we ain't gonna sit him down. I wouldn't say sit him down, but just, you know, we don't have to have his usage rate as high as he's been, like it was last year.
So how do you use him then? Because he's best with the ball in his hands, obviously.
We're gonna use him, but I'm saying we don't have to run 60 pick and rolls to, you know, to try to generate a shot. Now with Brad out there, with Kawhi back being healthy, with Zoo being able to post the basketball, you know, we can take a lot of pressure off James having to just, you know, overcreate every single night.
With him though, like, again, when he first got here, you had to convince him to take catches your chance.
Yeah.
Like, what does a James Harden usage look like when he's not creating everything for you guys and he's on the floor?
I mean, he's going to play his game. I'm just saying he doesn't have to do it every time down the floor. You know, like last year, I thought, you know, him and Norm had to do it every time down the floor because that's just what we had. But now, like I said, adding Brad, you know, added Kawhi being back in the mix, and then Zoo, he hasn't put that kind of pressure on himself to make every single play every time down the floor.
What were you able to see from Brad and Bogey today?
That, you know, they look good. They look good. They want to be smart. We don't want them scrimmaging right now, playing 5-on-5, but they did a little bit last week. So just making sure we're smart about it, just bringing them along slow.
Thanks, man.
Next time.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.